In the small village of Bethany, just outside Jerusalem, lived a man named Lazarus and his two sisters, Mary and Martha. Lazarus and his sisters were known throughout the village for their kindness and hospitality. But what made this family truly special was their close friendship with Jesus of Nazareth. Whenever Jesus came to Bethany, their home was his home. Little did they know that their friendship would soon be put to the ultimate test, and through it, the world would witness an extraordinary miracle. One day, Lazarus fell gravely ill. "Mary, brother, hold on. We'll get help." As Lazarus's condition worsened, his sisters grew desperate. "Martha, we must send word to Jesus. He's the only one who can help now." They sent an urgent message to Jesus, who was preaching in a town across the Jordan River. "Messenger, Lord, the one you love is sick." Upon hearing the news, Jesus knew that this illness would serve a greater purpose. But for Mary and Martha, watching their brother suffer, time was running out. Upon receiving the urgent message about Lazarus, Jesus did something unexpected. Jesus said, "This sickness will not end in death. It is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it." Disciple 1. But shouldn't we go to him immediately? Despite the urgency, Jesus stayed where he was for 2 more days. His delay was not out of indifference, but part of a greater plan. Jesus to disciples forward. "Now let us go to Judea." Little did anyone know, this delay would set the stage for an even greater miracle. Jesus said, "Let us go back to Judea." Disciple 1 said, "But Rabbi, a short while ago the Jews there tried to stone you. Are you going back?" Jesus asked, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble." Despite their concerns, Jesus was resolute in his decision. Jesus said, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up." Disciple 2 said, "Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better." Jesus said clearly, "Lazarus is dead, and for your sake, I am glad I was not there so that you may believe. Let us go to him." With a mix of confusion and trepidation, the disciples prepared for the journey. As they made their way to Bethany, none could have imagined the extraordinary events that were about to unfold. As Jesus neared Bethany, word of his arrival spread quickly. Villagers said, urgently, "Someone tell Martha and Mary, Jesus is here." Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Martha said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Martha said with conviction, "But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus said, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. Do you believe this?" Martha said, with unwavering faith, "Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." In this moment of grief, Martha's faith shone brightly, setting the stage for the miracle to come. Jesus, to Martha and Mary, "Where have you laid him?" Martha and Mary, voices thick with emotion, "Come and see, Lord." They approach a cave with a stone rolled across the entrance. As they neared the tomb, Jesus saw the grief of those around him. He was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. Jesus begins to weep, tears rolling down his cheeks. Villager 1 said, "See how he loved him." Villager 2 said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Jesus approaches the tomb, still visibly emotional. Jesus said to nearby people, "Take away the stone." Martha said, "But Lord, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days." Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" Men roll away the stone. Jesus looks up to the sky. Jesus, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." As Jesus finished his prayer, a tense silence fell over the crowd. All eyes were fixed on the dark entrance of the tomb. The air was thick with anticipation as all eyes fixed on Jesus. Jesus calling out in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Suddenly, movement is seen in the dark tomb entrance. Villager said, "Look, there's something moving." Lazarus emerges, stumbling slightly, completely wrapped in linen strips. To everyone's astonishment, Lazarus appeared at the entrance of the tomb, his body still bound in grave clothes. Martha and Mary, crying out in joy, "Lazarus, brother!" Jesus said to the crowd, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." As the grave clothes fell away, Lazarus' living face was revealed, his eyes blinking in the sunlight. In that moment, death itself had been defeated, and the power of Jesus was undeniably revealed. News of the miracle spread rapidly through Bethany and beyond. Many who had witnessed Lazarus emerge from the tomb now believed in Jesus. But this act of power was more than just a miracle. It was a sign of Jesus' authority over death itself, and a foreshadowing of an even greater miracle to come, when Jesus himself would conquer death, offering eternal life to all who believe in him. The story of Lazarus reminds us that with Jesus, death is not the end. It is merely the beginning of eternal life.
Please kindly subscribe, comment, share, and like this video to support us.